Okay, so we're going to have a look at another question from the 2022, so this is from the 2022 HSC Standard 2 Maths paper, Standard 2. So we have question 29. These are time questions, so time zone questions. I've seen people do these in so many different ways. There's a dozen different ways you can do these questions. They're pretty straightforward if you know how to think about them. If you don't think about them right, they get very complicated quickly. So we're told Sydney is 10 hours ahead of Coordinated Universal Time, and New York is 5 hours behind the Coordinated Universal Time. Tony travels from Sydney to New York. His plane leaves Sydney at 8:20 p.m. on Wednesday, flies non-stop. The flight takes 20 hours and 24 minutes. What time and day is it in New York when his plane lands? So I'm actually going to do this with a number line. I'm going to draw a number line. We're going to say that this is UTC 0. Sydney is over here at UTC plus 10, and New York is over here at UTC minus 5. Notice there is a 15-hour gap between New York and Sydney. We can identify this immediately. And New York is 15 hours behind Sydney. So Tony travels from Sydney to New York. So he starts at Sydney. The time is 8:20. 8:20. He then travels to New York, and the flight takes 20 hours and 24 minutes. So what we're going to do is we're going to calculate the time in Sydney when his plane lands, then convert that to the New York time. So we need to add 20 hours and 24 minutes to this. This is PM. So if we add 12 hours, this will get us to 8:20 a.m. the following day. Then we need to add another 4 hours. That will get us to 12:20 at midday the following day. Then another 4 hours and 24 minutes. That will get us to 4:44 p.m. 4:44 p.m. on the following day. Now we're told he left on a Wednesday. This was Wednesday in Sydney. He will arrive on Thursday at 4:44 Sydney time. That's the 8:20 plus 20 hours and 24 minutes. So now what we need to do is we need to convert this to New York time by subtracting 15 hours from it. So 4:44 p.m. If we subtract 12 hours from that, that gets us to 4:44 a.m. If we subtract another 3, that gets us to 1:44 a.m. So the time will be 1:44 a.m. and it will be Thursday. Thursday's just starting, right? So 1 hour 44 minutes into Thursday, but this will be the time. So his plane lands at 1:44 a.m. on Thursday. And this is the New York time. This is New York time. So this question is really straightforward if you think about it in a nice linear fashion. You sort of draw a line, identify what the time differences are, find the time in one place, convert it using the differences. It's very straightforward. If you overthink these, they can go wrong really quickly. The marking for a question like this, you'll get 1 mark for attempting to find an equivalent time. So either taking the Sydney time and increasing it by the flight time, or finding the time in New York when he leaves, something like that. You'll get another mark for working associated with finding the plane landing time, and then your third mark will be for getting the time at which the plane lands and the day. Right? So you've got to have the time and the day in order to get the 3 marks here.